This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.Fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.Fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today is Friday, January 21st. We got a great show for you guys, but first and foremost, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Listen on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, Google, iHeart. I don't know, all the other ones. Hit that follow button. We appreciate it. So anyway, we got a great show for you guys. So originally it was supposed to be Brendan Fitzgerald, but I saw Calvin Kattar and his coach doing the rounds, going to all the podcasts, interviews, media sessions with everyone who picked against them. So I thought, let's bring him back on the show that actually picked him to win. It wasn't just gaslighting him. So it was a fun conversation, to say the least. We go all over the place. It was a good time. I ended it like 4 different times because I just kept thinking of stuff. I don't know. It was fun. Anyway, after that, we got the original scheduled program with Brendan Fitzgerald. It was an awesome time. He gave Harry some real life advice. That was pretty funny before we sent him off to class. But obviously, we have that. Then afterwards, we talk a little bit about UFC 270. We talk about the Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens fight in Mexico when Brandon went underneath the table. You know, we kind of just go through all that kind of stuff. So great show, great interviews. After the interviews, we go over 270 ourselves. You know, we do it a little bit differently than everyone else. We only do 3 prelim fights, and then we go through the rest of the card. Make sure you check that out. If you haven't found out by now, we do everything a little bit differently here. So make sure you check that out. And then, you know, we go over a little bit of the NFL. And then we talk a little bit about some stuff most of you probably don't give a fuck about, whether it be IU basketball or things like that. So without further ado, here is Calvin Kattar and Tyson Chartier. Calvin, looking good for just being in a fist fight.
Yeah, take it, man. It felt worse.
I bet you that felt worse. About a year ago, you probably felt a little worse.
About a year ago. Yeah.
So the first thing I got to ask is, did you get Ralphie's last night?
No, I'm waiting for Rob. We're getting it tomorrow. He comes back in from Tampa, and then when he gets back in, we're gonna tear it up.
Why is he in Tampa?
He's out there for how do you call it? Quinceañera.
His relative's 15th birthday party.
Okay.
But I did have 2 cutlets at Sinatra's in Encore after the fight.
No, I know. I saw that. I didn't know if you guys flew in Ralphie's or something.
No. But yeah, we're hitting that tomorrow. So
we're not on the fly in Ralphie's level yet.
Yeah, not yet. Hey, open up. We're coming in.
No, so no. One thing I gotta ask though for sure is before the fight, I think the Patriots were already down 14-0. Did you see the score before you went out there?
No, but I probably would have got the first round finish if I had, because that would have pissed me off. I ended up seeing it as soon as I got in the hospital. I ended up getting a link. I pulled up the game, and it was 2 minutes left in the 4th.
Oh, no.
Horrible. Yeah, we were getting smoked. So
at least I didn't have to watch it. Like, that would have been miserable.
Yeah, it was just a straight kill shot, you know. Knew that we didn't stand a chance. Knowing that was it. Over.
You're building something. We're building something.
Exactly. And, you know, a lot can happen in a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
The comeback's going to be real for the Patriots.
Oh, damn right. Even though I hate to say it, it's true. It's going to happen. Bill's the best coach. He's the best coach.
I think Mac Jones will pan out. He's doing good. Not a bad first year.
No, not at all. He had the same stats as Luck and a couple other big time rookie quarterbacks. So he's on the right track. So let's talk about the fight a little bit. I know you had to have heard all the noise going into it from your boys. I know that's what you said. I mean, so that just pissed you off even more when you got in the octagon, just this guy's looking past me. This guy thinks he should be getting a title shot and I'm right here. I mean, you had to be thinking about it at least a little bit when you were throwing those elbows.
Yeah, 100%. There was a lot of bulletin material that he gave us, you know, leading the fight, especially once the champ had that fallout with Max, you know, so they were jockeying for replacements, but let him do all the talking, pull for the title, say why he's so deserving. And then when we beat him last Saturday, I was, you know, we'll just take all that momentum from him. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, there's even people saying if they waited a week, maybe you should be in line for the title. But so I want to ask about the game plan a little bit too, how much of the game plan was using elbows and doing more than just boxing?
Uncle T, I'll let you take over the game plan. You roll
That's
it up.
why we brought him in.
Yeah.
So I think we knew obviously pressure played a huge role, and then mixing and wrestling, that was a big part of it. And then we were going to let him dictate what we used, and we thought he'd run a little bit more. And if he ran, we'd take the space and then still stay in the space. But if he stayed, we were, looking to wrestle or crash to A and use our A-range weapons. But we never meant it like that. Like he took it to another level with the elbows. That was him freestyling and taking something that he had inside him that he just unleashed. And he felt, he landed that one elbow, and then he saw like a window, and when you're in there, you feel it. And he's like, okay, this is there. And then he just went ham with it. And I don't know if anybody's ever thrown that many standing elbows in a fight. That might be some kind of record, but that was him ad-libbing within the game plan, and him seeing something inside the fight that was there, and then he just took a full advantage of it.
It was like jabs. They were literally like jabs with your elbows. Like that was nuts. It was like the people's elbows. Some people are starting to call them.
Yeah, they were landing, so just stuck with it. And the good part about the elbows, man, there's no padding on them. So, laying a big elbow could change the fight. He was starting to wear them, So we were working our way in the jab with the jab, which is what we'd like to do anyway. But when he was in range, we were just stuffing it with elbows. But something I wasn't aware of in the game plan is Tyson trying to leverage the fact that my mom and my sister are in the crowd, and he likes to take digs at me. Listen, your fucking mother and your sister are in the crowd. They didn't come here to see you lose, and they don't want to see you lose. I'm like, yo, you better keep my mother and my sister out of this, or we're gonna have problems.
He would say that to me after the fight. He's like, yo, that doesn't pump me up.
That doesn't piss me off.
I said it before the 5th round, and you have your best
I did turn it up, so maybe you did, man. You always say some shit that Burgos went to. You just talk mad shit right before the 3rd round. He knows how to get me pissed off a little too much, and then it worked out though. Worked out.
Well, you had the New England score. You should at least had somebody like behind you, like, hey man, we got the score to the game. Like, could have used that. I mean,
I know he didn't have to go right to the family, but he pulled the family card out quick. But I'll give him credit. He did say, I'm liking the spinning shit. He's like, and he's usually not a fan. He usually gives a lot of shit about the spinning attacks, the spinning elbow specifically. He's like, I don't mind it. I'm like, you damn right you don't mind it. Let's go. Talking all that shit, saying like, low probability. He always gives a shit for it, but it was funny, man. Sorry, landed in the fight.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say that.
I know. I didn't.
They throw it and they look over at me. And
yeah.
Come on, guys.
Cut the shit, right?
When Rob threw a spinning elbow against
Simone.
I literally said Calvin's in the corner, and I was like, "This is fucking bullshit."
Yeah, because he missed by like an inch, but he fell and I think gave up his back real quick. But he got out of a quick scramble. But it was a small opportunity that he missed. And kind of didn't work out the best. But I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of close, For me, it was close. I liked it. I think
I said in the fight between rounds, I go, I know you're not going to believe that I'm saying this.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind the spinning stuff. So see it, go for it.
I almost laughed. It was awesome.
The spinning shit, keep it up. No, there was a couple spinning elbows though. You had to be shocked he was still standing. Like there's a couple of them that like I thought he was just gonna get flatlined.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. Credit to him. He was durable, and then also to be able to defend the takedowns. But I know they were serving a purpose, like Tyson was saying. Getting them thinking about the takedowns, and maybe that opens up the elbows and vice versa, all the other things. So he did a good job, though, at least defending the takedowns and wearing the damage and not taking the knee. Because, like you said, I hit him with some good shots. That 5th round, I think. He started kind of really feeling it, wearing it right towards the end. I think if I had a little more time, I could have got the finish, but he held off strong.
I was gonna say, because in the beginning, like there, I think between like the 3rd and 4th round, it was pretty evident it didn't seem like he had that much gas left. Then the 5th round, he opens up as if he was saving everything for that final 5th round. But I'm not gonna lie though, the main reason I reached out originally was because you're doing all the interviews with everyone who picked against you. I picked you. I put a lot. I'm not gonna say how much. I put a pretty substantial amount on you.
Let's go.
I took you. I didn't just take you to win. I took you to finish, and I took you to finish in the 5th. I took you to finish in the 5th.
Damn.
So it would have won me like a grand.
Yeah, you would have won. That would have been a nice hit, bro. My bad. I know the Barstool guys did the same shit. I guess they were all pushing for the finish. I felt bad.
The Misc went for the
submission. I know, man.
Submission. He was like, damn.
First round.
I thought I had it too. I know. If he hit the ground again, I was submitting his ass. I don't care. That's what I think. In my head, I was submitting him. We hit the ground again. but he defended the takedowns well. The first round, I almost had even a Von Flute, man. The Von Flute was there, but he used it to sweep smart, man. It was kind of slick. He got me off balance for a split second, but I held the grip and at least took the back out of it. But yeah, close, man. He was durable. He held on strong. I think I could have got the finish, but I'm never unhappy anytime I get my hair in.
Oh, of course, especially in that kind of a situation too. Big bounce back, coming back from the max.
You guys gotta stop getting greedy, bro. Just take the W. Whoa.
Wait.
You guys are all greedy, man.
Wait. Well, let me clarify. I put, so let's say out of 10 units, I put 7 on you to win straight up.
Yo, this guy's a pro.
I put 7 on you to win straight up.
10 units, he says. I love it.
Two. Then I took 2 to finish. And then I spread out the last one. And then I put the rest of it was spread out around, I took 3, 4, and 5. I took you to finish later in the round. So I thought, I assumed the game plan was obviously when the first round finished, but in the first round, you're probably like, let's just weather the storm, maybe take them down, wear them out, and then really, paint the canvas.
Yeah. Yep. No, you were right on, man. And after that first round, we knew we had him a little gassed out. So that pressure kind of just paid dividends, it's keeping the foot on the gas. The best defense was just staying on offense.
How was your favorite term of the week? How was the Giga kick?
He started to hit me. I just didn't get all that shit. It's like, I get it. If you hit it, it's great. But I'm being far more worried about a guy that has lots of other tools than just one kick. You know what I mean? And he did hit me with it a few times. Didn't feel great, but I mean, it wasn't a fight ender for me, just, I don't know. He also didn't catch me maybe breathing on a loose stomach, something like that. Didn't hit it right, but worked through it. And I was just seeing the Giga show and all that shit, all the Giga kick, man.
I was listening to one of your pre-fight interviews. I forget the reporter, and she asked you about the Giga kick. And I don't know why I thought this was so fun. You're like, I'm going to put on a tutorial. And I just thought that was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Andrade. How do you end Andrade?
Is that the ESPN with that? It was after Wayne's, right?
Yeah. It was like right after the Wayne's. Like, I'm going to put a tutorial on it. And it was
see, they got me when I'm like a little hungry. When I'm a little hungry, I'm probably more liable to say some shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm a little chippier, a little hungry, a little pissed.
Well, you're already getting
keep hearing about this anyway. Yeah. No, man, I've been hearing about that shit too much. Then let alone from the guy himself, just like, just advocating so much about his own kick. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of that.
Now everyone's gonna start talking about Kattar's elbows. That's all everyone's gonna talk about is Kattar's elbows. So I got 2 more questions. Change the narrative. I got 2 more questions. I said I was gonna take too much of you guys' time, but the first one is this: how much do the elbows hurt?
They're great, man.
Really?
For instance, for landing shots with my hands and putting people out, usually my hands feel it more than my elbows had, and there's no pads on them, just ripping them. Yeah, my elbows feel pretty great, surprisingly. My forearms maybe a little jacked up. Maybe it was some of them I hit on the head on the forearm, but also blocking a couple of the kicks, little jacked up. But the elbows itself, the bones, everything's good, man. I'm feeling relatively great after a little bit of a dogfight and having it work out the way it did.
All right, I changed. I actually have 2 more questions. So the one I said next was when you took him down and you're punching him in the stomach. Was that more of the game plan, or you could just not get him in the face? I feel like punching him in the stomach, you're gonna try to take out a little bit more cardio, gas him out a little quicker. Was that kind of the game plan?
Just kind of take what he was giving me. He was trying to do a good job holding the 2-on-1, so it was tough pummeling in. I was trying to pummel in to get him in the head. But in the meantime, I figured, why not hit what's open, which is maybe the body for a brief moment. Then you get him to drop the hands, you go back to the head.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I was kind of thinking there.
Okay, no, that's the one thing I was curious. And the last thing is, oh shit, what was the last thing? I had it for a second. Oh my god, how am I spacing this right now? Fuck it, I don't know. I brought you guys on real quick notice. It was
bro, it's good, man. Take your time. You might think of it.
No. I'm not gonna think of it. I completely blanked it. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
You're not at the age yet where you walk into a room and forgot why you went in there.
Yes.
Or like you pick up your phone and you forget who you were gonna text. I hate that.
Like that. Like I'm not even kidding.
Tyson's a big pet peeve guy.
Pet peeve guy.
He's got a long list. He's got a long list of shit that grinds his gears.
Which one do you use the most to piss him off?
All of them, man. Especially fight week. I take it out on Tyson, but he knows it's all love. But he gets it probably the worst out of everybody. I talk a lot of shit to Tyson, but to be fair, he honestly, like, I feel like he asks for with his antics all week. You know,
I'm just trying to keep
So,
it light,
yeah.
keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
But they asked. I did an interview last night. They asked this question. I want to ask you. They said, of the New England cartel, what's the biggest romance?
You and Jake.
That's what I said.
If they talk the most shit.
Like frenemies.
Yeah.
We really respect each other.
Yeah.
We're like really good friends. If we had a podcast, we call it the Bantering Baldies.
Bantering Baldies, yeah. And see, I mean, as much as they talk shit, man, when it comes down time to, you know, to handle business, they nobody better.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys, again, off to a great start. You kind of, it's big year for New England Cartel. Big year for the New England Cartel. So, love having you guys on. I'm not going to think of the question. I'll think of it. I'll ask you next time. Later down the road.
You guys are good shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was last minute. I was just like, fuck it. Why not? Bring on for the one guy who actually believed. The one guy who actually laid down his life on it.
I like it. I like it. I'm glad you did, man. It was funny. I said we made a lot of fans out in Vegas because I don't think they were originally fans, but after winning, you know, they're a bunch of just gamblers and bettors.
Yeah.
But they're all throwing me support because I was a plus money guy. Like, hey, aren't you that guy that won me plus 200 or hit my parlay or something?
Yeah, I think I tweeted out the other day. So I was like, everybody keeps saying, "Oh, I won so much money on Calvin." And I'm like, "Yeah, ask me for my Venmo."
I remember what I was gonna ask. So it's because I don't know how. Regardless, so the picture with you and Giga. I don't know why people haven't made this comparison yet, but it's almost similar to that of when Gaethje took the picture with Michael Chandler. Of like one guy's face really doesn't look that like fucked up, and then the other one's is just battered. I kind of have a little bit of pride in that, you know. Almost looks like if
I mean, I wouldn't ask for the picture, you know, being in the situation I was, just because I mean, but if I was the one beat up and I asked for the picture, of course, you know what I mean. So
we asked.
It worked. He asked me for the picture, so I was there. Like I said, we were right next to each other in the hospital. Even in this game, man, the winners go to the hospital too. It's a mess, but I took the picture with him, and then he was all respectful, man, in the hospital after the fight, post fight. Didn't really have much bad things to say, except for pre-fight. And then at this point now, just I think the untimely interview question about beating me 9 times. But at that point, man, it is what it is, man. He's got a road to getting back, getting healthy. And I told him all you could do now is just take it out on the next guy.
Mm-hmm. Do exactly what you did. No, that was I didn't want to ask about it, but it's kind of like if you're a fighter, like shit, when you lost to Max, you probably thought to yourself, well, I can beat him. You probably were thinking to yourself, I can beat this guy. Like, there's no question I can beat this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, those are their learning experience. I mean, you got to chalk it up to that, but yeah, make no mistake about it. I'm looking forward to round 6. He's definitely a guy I think that I could beat, even though it didn't work out that way. And again, nobody probably would believe in me for that fight too, but I look forward to the opportunity of trying to prove them all wrong again.
It's just a fighter mentality, like that. Like he gets shit on for saying he beat you 9 out of 10 times. It's just that's the way you feel. You have to have that mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. So just go out and earn it, though. You can't do it with your mouth. Go out, say less, go out and prove it, and earn what you want. That's it. Don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So this is gonna come out on Friday. I gotta ask you guys, who do you guys have in the main event between Ciryl Gane, Francis Ngannou?
I gotta go Francis Ngannou just because he's my guy, and he's a beast, and I'm pulling for Francis.
Okay. Same. Tyson, same.
I can't pick against my boy Eric. So
I
want Eric to go out there with Francis, defend the belt. There's a lot of drama going into it with the money talks, and then him fighting a former teammate and the coach of that team talking about Francis the whole time. And so hopefully Francis does his thing and then comes out on the other side on top.
So actually, no, I do want to ask Tyson one more thing about the fight. What was the one thing you wanted Calvin to do, but he just wouldn't do it in terms of like the game plan? Like, was there anything in the game plan you guys didn't do?
There was a couple of times where I wanted him to wrestle a little bit more, like just put the hands on, lock in a little bit. But I would say like he did good enough with it to serve its purpose. Like we weren't trying to just make sure we took him down to the ground and laid on the ground. Like we knew if we wrestled early, he'd get tired and it would really neutralize a lot of his striking attacks. And he'd be tired, he wouldn't kick. And you even heard his coach say, no more kicks first minute, just jab. Yeah. It's like we literally took a guy who's been talking for 3 months about how he's going to knock us out with a liver kick. And his coach is saying, please don't use your best weapon. You don't have enough energy. And that was just because we wrestled. So we knew that would happen. But I think the one thing, and this is something we'll still work on, is we were asking Calvin, like, listen, don't go so big. Don't go so big. Just touch him. But Calvin's a fighter, man. He wants to kill people.
I'm gonna need to hear that
Yeah.
every round, every fight, straight up.
We're like, just touch,
Every round,
just
every
touch.
fight.
And you know, so like I think he could have probably conserved a lot more energy himself, and maybe got done actually a little bit more damage had he not tried to go so big. Because you know, there was times where he would touch and they go a big right hand, he'd be out of position, and Giga would land a shot. You know, so I think, but I mean, you can't really complain about a shutout, right? But that's our job as coaches to learn from our wins. You know, we obviously we learned from that last loss, but our goal is to always learn off our wins. And I think we do have a lot to learn from this one, but that would be probably the biggest takeaway.
All right, yeah. So obviously, fun fight coming up eventually. Don't know who it is yet, but no matter who it is, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. Thanks for coming on, guys. I've ended this like 4 different times, and now I'm actually done though. So,
all right, I'm with it, man. Appreciate you. You guys are always a pleasure to talk to, man, and I look forward to the next one.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one. Have fun at Ralphie's. Enjoy it.
Can't wait, bro.
All right, see you guys. It was always a great time catching up with those guys. Can't wait to have them back on. But first and foremost, I want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. Living.Fit is a health and wellness company that will help you achieve all your goals, from building muscle, losing fat, or maybe just trying something new. Not only are there workout programs, but we can help with your nutrition or build out your home gym. And for all my personal trainers out there looking to get certified in kettlebells or battle ropes, they're the place to be. Make sure you go visit the website and download the app Living.Fit today. Now here's Brendan Fitzgerald. We are joined by the only man to be the color commentator for the UFC in 2022 for a main event, Brendan Fitzgerald. My man, what's up? How we doing?
Tommy, Harrison, good to be with you guys. The year is off and running. That was a long month without fights, but we're back.
Felt like forever. Felt like it was never going to come back. But as we talked about before, my intern here, he has to go. He has to go to class, be a good student. You know, I don't bring in kids I don't think are good students. So this is how this segment works. If he has 5 questions, a 5-level game. If you like the question, we move on to the next one. But if you don't like the question, we send them off to class and we move on to the actual spot. Right. So let's go ahead and get on into this. Harry,
yep,
go ahead.
So gonna restart since we're restarting the thing. What was the best fight you've called?
Best fight I've called. Yeah, I had my this question was tipped.
A lot of this was tipped.
Best fight I've called. So I was just re-racking and thinking about this, and I can't tell you of a fight that's gone 5 rounds that I've called that's been better than Kattar and Chikadze. You know, that had that much action. I've called fights where you don't know who won. Like Jacare Souza fought Jan Blachowicz in Sao Paulo, and really nothing happened. So we didn't know who won. So in that case, the judges' scorecards were a little more suspenseful, but the fight kind of stunk. But this one, we knew Kattar won, but gosh, man, they were back and forth. So, you know, recency bias aside, I can't recall a 5-round fight that was filled with that much action from what I just called. My other classic UFC moments are Uriah Faber in Sacramento. I always love watching Korean Zombie fight. I've called a couple of his knockouts. And Cowboy Cerrone setting the wins and finishes record in Denver. That was like crazy. But those were like early wins. Those were, you know, more often than not first round finishes. So, you know, to go 25 minutes, I'll give you Kattar and Chikadze. Yeah. That was quite a fight.
Definitely a fight. Actually, fun fact real quick about Harry. So he's kind of been a casual fan. He's kind of watched here and there. I'm turning him into like a big time UFC fan. That was the first fight he was able to watch, like, and really understand what was going on. So what a welcoming!
Yeah.
I was. It was a hell of a welcoming, and I mean I was so I'm a bar, like I'm a door staff at a bar. That's what I do as a second job here.
Yeah.
And I was working that night, and I was sitting at the back door, just on my phone, watching the fight, like losing my mind.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
Hold on, why wasn't it on at the bar? I thought you were going to say it was on at the bar and people were going nuts, and you know, they're just like, "Who's this announcer? He's so good."
I wish we could have had it on at the bar.
That silky smooth voice.
It would have been incredible. Yeah, but
hey man, welcome to the club, because it's a grip that is strong that will not let go. I promise.
Once you get in, you're hooked.
I'm loving it already.
You're hooked forever.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm loving it.
All right. Question 2.
Next question. Do you find it hard to turn like the commentary off when you're just watching an event at home? Do you find yourself like calling things out loud as they happen?
No. Bad question. We're going to go through all the questions, Harrison, okay? But I'm going to be tough on you because I'm an
Sounds good.
interviewer myself, right? So
Yep.
when you ask me a yes or no question, this is why people think Belichick is a stick in the mud, and really he just gets bad questions. If you ask him yes or
Fair.
no, he's going to answer with a yes or a no. So you say, do
Okay.
you find it hard to this? No. Now you're relying on me to like be nice
I see.
and evaluate.
Yes.
So the different way to phrase that question, it's not a horrible thought of a question, but you could say, what is it like when you watch fights at home?
I'll keep that
More
in the back
often
of
than
my
not,
mind.
more
Yeah.
often than not, keep it simpler and make
Good to
the
know.
person answering the question have more to say.
Damn, we're getting
So
a
what-
lecture before
like when
the
you're
class.
when you're not this I promise this as a sport media major, this would be way more valuable than somebody there.
Oh, yeah.
But still go to class. So yeah, like, you know, like what is it like when you're watching an event at home and not calling it? Then I have to really just talk about it, and it's not just like, do you call the events on the couch at home? No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a.
You know
I'll
what I
give a
mean?
second.
All right,
I'll give a
let's go.
question. You'll
I
answer. I'll
get
give a
that,
question
yeah.
to fill this one in, even though we got that awesome advice. Is you know you
Right.
talked about your most exciting fight was the one this past weekend, but would you say the Yair Rodriguez and the Jeremy
Oh,
Stevens?
Holloway. Like that one.
No. Jeremy
Hold on.
Stevens when you
Hold
were
on. I got
there.
the first question wrong. Yair Rodriguez and Max Holloway was like 2 months ago, and I already forgot about it. That's another one of my best fights. Okay, go on, Tommy. We're talking about
again,
Mexico
it
now.
kind of forgets like the recency bias in MMA. You kind of always think about the last big
Yeah,
fight.
I
No, I
know.
was gonna say, was it just not as exciting, but in terms of adrenaline pumping when you're in Mexico calling the Jeremy Stevens and Yair Rodriguez fight?
Well, I mean, that was just like a, you know, I don't like to swear. That was just a shit show. I mean, that was just, you know, it was 15 seconds into the fight and then, you know, whatever. And I wasn't like really fearful at all. I was just like, let me just find a perch where I can just, you know, like if you're in the midst of like a water balloon fight and your job is to report on the water balloon fight, best not to stand in the center of the water balloon fight. Find a spot where you can like describe what's going on. So that's why I went under the table to just be like, let me just not get disturbed by any of this and just talk through the action. So that, I mean, that was like unfortunate. It was kind of wild in the moment, but afterwards it was just like, gosh, we flew all the way down to Mexico City to try to get this awesome fight. And it probably was going to be turned out to be an awesome fight because they fought in Boston like 6 weeks later and, or a month later. And, you know, just like, gosh, I mean, I know we called other fights tonight, but we didn't get, you know, the fans didn't get what they wanted. We didn't get what we wanted. And, you know, it was just like a big, you know,
It's just a
kind of a
clusterfuck.
lame
It was a
duck thing.
clusterfuck, and it, like
Yeah.
the one,
I'll let you.
I'll say it for you. But no, because that's what I wanted to say. Because I figured that's why you went underneath the desk was because like you don't want to be like kind of describing what's going on to get hit in the back of the head and go fuck live on air. Like you gotta hide
right.
yourself.
There's
You
you know,
gotta
yeah,
be
just like
protective.
you know, you're just gonna have a reaction. So I was
Yeah.
just like, let me just dart under here and stay cool.
Exactly. All right, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I filled in the number 2 gap, Harry.
All right, question 3.
number
Here we go.
3.
So I don't know if you've been asked this before, but do you have like a dream fight that you would commentate? Two opponents you really want to see go at it and you would call?
Just on phrasing, another yes or no there, Harrison.
Oh,
But
working on it. Working on it.
But it's a very hard habit to break. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
Gosh, you know, a year and a half ago, my boss kind of had one that he like threw out there, and I haven't come up with like a better one, but it doesn't really make sense now. But he was just like, if Colby and Nate Diaz fought, that would be a very big deal. Now we're kind of getting something like that. You're getting Colby and Masvidal, which is, you know, like it's a fight of that nature. And it even has a little bit more backstory because of the relationship they've had in the past. Gosh, do I want a certain fight? I mean, without thinking about it, I can't really. It would be something in the realm of Colby and Masvidal. It would be something with like heat. I like the ones where there's just a lot of just heat, man. Just a lot of I hate you. Gosh,
Gotta love
Sterling
the
and Jan is
animosity.
pretty good. Like O'Malley and some of these
Him and Cody.
135ers that think he's a joke and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, Cody and O'Malley be fun. Cody's got to figure out some things.
Yeah.
I feel, I don't know what Cody does going forward, but I can't give you one right off the top, Harrison, of my head, but Kobe Masvidal's pretty good. Kobe Nate Diaz, I think, would be a lot of fun. I don't think it makes sense from a matchmaking standpoint at this point, but yeah, something with a lot of,
Animosity, hatred.
yeah, a lot of animosity. Those are the most fun.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to question number 4. Do you have like a commentary hero, someone you looked up to and really got you into the job you're doing now?
The job I'm doing now kind of found me. So I don't have a hero in terms of an MMA commentator or somebody I always looked up to in the UFC. I've always loved Neil Everett, SportsCenter anchor,
Yeah.
because that's what I thought I wanted to do. When I was in college, me and my friends, we all really loved Neil Everett. He just was like the funniest guy and was so good and smooth. And his writing too, like when you go next level and you're like learning the craft, and then like his writing back in the day to like, when he's just on the desk and you have 25 seconds to set up like an NBA playoff report where you're going somewhere else, like a lot, you could just mail that in, you could just write a few sentences, but he would come up with like storylines or, references or just like different stuff that was creative. And so he was great at doing highlights. His writing was great. So Neil Everett was a guy that I kind of strived to, because I wanted to go that studio route, and I did. And then as far as play-by-play, I've always thought Al Michaels to me is my favorite, where he's not too wordy, just lets the moments speak for themselves. His voice is not, it's not like, it's proof that like you don't need this like crazy radio announcer voice. He sounds like a normal guy who's really likes sports, who knows when to turn it up, knows when to dial it back, knows when to let his color announcer have a lot. He's obviously been the voice of many iconic moments, so he's probably my favorite in that realm. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And final question before I head on off to class here. But if you would be calling any other sport other than UFC, what do you think it would be and why?
Probably hockey. Grew up playing hockey. Played club hockey in college. It was always like my first love sport. I think there's a lot of crossover between MMA fans and hockey fans because it's that high action, high intensity. There are fights in hockey regularly. But like, hockey was just always like a passion of mine. And oddly enough, I've had 2 hockey jobs where I was like a finalist for it. Like I almost worked for the New York Islanders and I almost worked for the NHL Network. And both of those jobs, like I've gotten audition, you do, when you get to that level, you do an audition in person. It's part of the interview process. And so I've done like several auditions, and like the only auditions where I've gone and been like a finalist for a job and have not got the job are the 2 hockey jobs. And it's like, go figure. I grew up playing hockey. I played in college. Like it was my life as a kid. Like hockey was number one. And then all these years later, and I crushed the auditions both times. It wasn't like I wish I did better or whatever. And then like I have an audition for the UFC. I never really was into MMA. I was always covering team sports and working on ESPNU and stuff like that. And I get the UFC job, with like next to no experience. So the people are like, how do I get a job in MMA? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I got a job in MMA. So,
fair enough.
That's just how it goes sometimes. But hockey, I mean, there is nothing better. I mean, aside from great UFC fights, I just love how the UFC is set up from a consumer standpoint. But NHL playoff hockey to me is as good as sports television gets. So if I could call hockey games, that'd be pretty fun.
I absolutely agree with the NHL playoff point. I'm also a diehard hockey fan, as that was the sport I grew up with. I'm a currently suffering Flyers fan, but
well, it's about the journey, man. It's about the journey. The best thing about the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup is that they didn't win 5 of them.
Exactly.
Like, I don't really care about the Red Sox anymore. They win on regular intervals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it
The
just
Patriots
becomes
won
this drug. You know,
6.
like the bad part of getting addicted to drugs, I'm told, is that like, you know, you need that hit to have a baseline, right? So
Yeah.
that's not good. So if like when Yankees fans in the late 90s, like they needed to win the World Series to be normal. That's not fun. That's not how it is. I always try to tell
No.
my sports fan friends of long-suffering franchises is just like, you know, like are you an Eagles fan then? Are you a Philly guy?
Oh yeah, I'm all Philly
Right.
everything.
Right. So like that Eagles season and playoff run and Super Bowl is incredible.
Yeah.
You're going to remember that for your entire life. And it's
I remember.
you remember
I
everything.
remember everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you which Patriots Super Bowl is which at this point. And like
Yeah,
a lot of people
that's
are
fair.
like, "Oh, I wish I had that problem." And it's like, no. I wish I had your problem. I wish I could remember every single game, where, when, who, fourth quarter, 3rd and 11, the out route, that, you know, that it all blends
Yeah.
together.
It must be
So,
nice then having Mac
enjoy
Jones.
it, man.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
The Flyers
no
will get
Tom
there.
Brady.
Yeah, like the Patriots now have hit the reset button. It's a cool new chapter.
Yeah.
So now it's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of, you know, yeah, that's how it goes.
All
right, was that number
good
5?
talking with you,
That was
Brent.
number 5.
Yeah, that was
All right.
number 5. It was great
Harrison,
talking with you, Brendan.
look back at your questions that you wrote down. There was a lot of do you. Do you means yes or no question. Get rid of that.
Okay.
Turn them
Good to
into what, how, you know what I mean? And then just leave it simple. There you go. All right, Harrison, off to class, man. Good luck. Good to chat with you.
Bye, Harrison.
All right.
Pay attention in class.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There we go.
Gotta be.
Look at you, Tommy, guiding the youth.
I know. I gotta guide the youth. Gotta try. No, so like you actually talked about one of the things I wanted to ask you about was because I feel like the UFC, like everyone who works in the UFC, I don't know why I have this perspective. I feel like they've been like groomed in the UFC to end up working for the UFC outside the fighters. So like you really just kind of showed up to a UFC tryout. You're like, all right, well let's just see what happens. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, the Contender Series was being I got laid off by ESPN in April of 2017, and they launched the Contender Series a few months later. They launched the Contender Series in July of that year. So when I got laid off, they were looking for broadcasters for that new show. And I was part of the ESPN layoffs. I don't know if you remember, but there was like a bunch of people laid off, like Ed Werder and Danny Kanell. Like it was that, oh my goodness, they let go of 100 people on air and all, you know, whatever, which was actually great for me because if I was just part of like a small kind of job reduction thing, then it wouldn't have made news. But as a result, like, you know, I put out my tweet like, yeah, my time at ESPN is done. You know, all the best. Going to miss everybody I work with, but you know, on we go. And so like my boss, I don't know if he saw that. I don't think he saw that tweet or whatever, but he kind of saw like, okay, all these broadcasters are now on the market looking for jobs because ESPN, and we're looking for good broadcasters. They can learn how to call fights, I think is what his perspective was. And they also brought in people that were MMA announcers at different promotions. And like there, you know, I think there was like 12 kind of crews that they brought in for auditions. And, you know, I went in just knowing like, I know what a punch is. I know what a kick is. And I know to get really excited. And it is a very exciting thing, especially for newcomers. If you're in the gym every day, like Dominic Cruz does not have this crazy reaction when there are knockouts because for him, fighting is fighting. He's seen knockouts. He knows what's possible. He knows it's going to happen. And he'll just be like, oh, he'll focus on the technique. When me and you, Tommy, are like, holy, like what? Like, how does he just eat that elbow and not just call it quits right there, you know? So it's like just a wild thing. You know, it's like Dana White says, if you got a big room of people and there's people playing one-on-one basketball in one corner and there's people fighting in the other corner, where do you think everyone's watching?
Oh, you're going to the fight.
You know, they're going over to watch the fight. And so if you just kind of keep that, you know, keep that like fan mentality or just that every person mentality of just like, this is like, acknowledge how crazy this is and just react accordingly. And so that's kind of what I did, and it got me the job, and then pulled me into the world, and I just love it, man. I never had a better job.
It really is crazy how like when you get into the like MMA UFC space, you do it. You watch a couple
Yeah.
fights, you're just hooked. It's just it's
Hooked, man.
addicting.
It's really
like you said
it's
the drug analysis analogy
yeah.
earlier. Like it's literally like a drug.
Yeah, I mean, and sports are like, especially now, like when I was a kid, like there was ESPN, and then there were games on weekends on the networks and all that stuff. The amount of content you can watch in anything, but let's just say you're a sports fan, like you can go on YouTube and just find like nothing but like high school hockey coverage from Quebec, Canada. You know what I mean? Like if that's your thing, you can go so far into it. So there's so many choices out there that it makes it tougher. Like, and then even like if you're an NBA fan, well, you can't watch every game. You just can't. There's not enough time. There's games going on at the same time. Like it's all, there's so much out there. If you're a UFC fan, you go, I'm showing up on Saturday. I'm watching the fights. Everybody's talking about the same thing on Monday. We all watch the same thing. Now, there's a lot of in MMA, you can go down deep into a rabbit hole, but in terms of the UFC, it's kind of like the NFL, which is at first I was just like, wow, like, yes, there are multiple games going on in the NFL on Sunday, but if you like watch Red Zone, you kind of know what happened in the NFL and you're caught up. And it's one day a week, and aside from Thursdays and Mondays, but the UFC being one day a week, everyone's watching the same thing. Everyone's reacting to the same thing on social media. It's just such a consumable sport. And then you can fill in the middle if you want to watch embedded on a pay-per-view week, if you want to watch gambling shows based on the fights, if you want to do any of that, get into the social media beefs and all that other stuff. You can add on to it in layers, or you can just show up on Saturday and watch some fights.
There's
so awesome.
Anything you want. It's literally like a real life drama in real time. Like that's how I look at it too. It's like you talk about like we talked earlier about the Colby Jorge fight. When we get about a month or two, like a month and a half, month out, holy smokes, they're going to be going at it. Like it's gonna be
well
heated.
Because also they know how to make money too.
Yes, they're
like
the best.
They know
they're outside Connor. You could say they're probably the two best.
Yeah. Every step of the way is money making, but it also feels genuine the whole time. It's just it's good. And like what I started realizing when I covered sports is like the games are fun, but unless it's like a huge game with a lot on the line, it's about the story in between. Like the NBA, to me, like I'm not a big NBA fan, but the more interesting thing in the NBA is when like LeBron says something in the locker room after the game that we're going to be talking about for 48 hours until the next game. It's a regular season game. Okay, yeah, like LeBron and the Lakers are probably making the playoffs. Like we know who's going to be in the running to win the championship most of the time. And so the story in between is the fun part. And the fight game, the fights are great, but they're not too long. And the story in between is like all about what's next with the fight. So it's just a perfectly non-scripted real life drama, reality show, whatever you want to call it.
That's like a great segue though into like the fight you called this past weekend with Calvin and Giga. I mean, like I've seen a lot of people come out and say they think Giga was focused way too much on Volkanovski and looking way too past Kattar. Like that was a storyline going into it. It was just that he wasn't focused on this guy who's notably one of the toughest fights you can get at the 145 division. And just like it's literally every week you see this stuff, like Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane. It's literally a WWE storyline. Like it's just every week.
Like Moreno, Mexico's champion. Are they still going to have a champion? To me, almost like, I know the heavyweight title is just a huge thing, but I'm almost more interested in the trilogy between Figueiredo and Moreno, just because to me, Moreno is one of the most likable people on planet Earth. Never mind athletes in the UFC. He's just like, and Figueiredo is kind of this villain, and he kind of knows he's playing the villain. But yeah, I mean, there's never a shortage of storylines. The off season, a month without fights, it was just like, we've got nothing, yeah, we got some fights to look forward to, but like we need that week to week. We need what's going to happen next. What just happened? How to react? Whatever. So it's fantastic.
It is fantastic. And so we did talk. Let's talk a little bit more 270. So obviously, let's go back. I want to talk a little bit more Francis and Cyril Gane. Do you think like?
Okay.
Obviously, you have this conversation with Francis. He wants more fighter pace, stuff like that. You know what, guys talk about that. I think that's just normal for a lot of those guys, for a lot of the bigger guys.
Yeah.
But what I think is really kind of the storyline is like him and his coach, and I think it's almost become him against him and not him against Cyril. I feel like that's almost it makes me worry Francis is going to freeze because of all this pressure like he did against Derek Lewis.
Yeah. I hope not.
Well, we certainly hope not. We don't want that again.
I think that I don't think Francis is going to freeze. I think that I'm good friends with his coach, Eric Nixick.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have utmost confidence in Eric Nixick's ability to groom fighters and to not only physically prepare them, but to mentally kind of, acknowledge what they're going through and try to get the best out of them. It's very, very rare to see a fighter out of Extreme Couture that's got Nixick in the corner that's not going to bring it. You know what I mean? And when he fought Derek Lewis, he was very, very, like, his life was in a much different place. He was in the title fight. He did not, I think he was relying on his one-punch power after the Overeem knockout. Like when he knocked out Overeem and then he got booked for the title fight soon after, that was only like 6 weeks later. And from what I know, he spent like a month of that in Paris. I think probably, holidays and probably celebrating how much everyone's talking about him and that he's the next thing. And then he got dragged around into deep waters with Stipe, wrestling, whatever, just couldn't hang. Looked like he'd never seen a treadmill before. And so then to come back against Derek Lewis and like he wasn't firmly with any camp. He was really kind of floating at that point, wondering what's next. I had my title shot. It didn't go. How good am I? Am I going to be a champion? Where should I live? Where should I go? Who should support me? Who should be on my team? And like, he has found that big time. I mean, he's at Nixick's house, like playing with his kids all the time. So like, he is firmly entrenched in that camp with that team, with that coach. Showed aggression, but patience against Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm interested to see is how it translates against a guy who's as good of an athlete as Ciryl Gane, because he is, bigger than Stipe. His technique in terms of Muay Thai, kickboxing, all that stuff is probably a little bit more evolved than Stipe is in that department. Stipe is a great striker, but Gane is kind of a different one. So yeah, that's what if Francis doesn't do the all out blitz, then how does he get to him? And Gane, like, how's his chin? And Gano's just putting people out left and right whenever he connects. So I don't think we're going to get Francis putting too much pressure on himself. I think he's gonna bring it.
Okay. Well, and the other thing I forgot to mention too was the whole thing with, I know him and Tyson Fury have been going back and forth, and this is kind of a weird thing that I might sound kind of weird when I say this, but I feel like this fight against Gane is kind of like Fury versus Wilder, where one is just super technical, really good striking, kind of good all around. One guy has just a touch of death. And if you were to go 5 rounds, you'd probably lean more towards Fury or Gane than you would Ngannou or Wilder.
Yeah, like people, we did our gambling show last week and the sharps are just like, this is a pretty easy bet. Not to say you're going to cash the ticket all the time, but in terms of handicapping it, they like Ciryl Gane because of the technique kind of beats all out power, especially when they think that he has a good chin. His defense is good, his movement is good. He's going to be tough to hit. And like, then we saw sharp ad. We recorded that show. It was around a coin flip. Ciryl Gane was like -120. Now, like, he's gone up in the odds. A lot of sharp money came in on him. So I think it kind of changes the outlook of it and changes it from a betting perspective. But in terms of the thought, of how to break down a fight, I think you're right on there with that comparison.
For me, I was kind of leaning towards taking Gane, but like, now that I've seen the line kind of balloon, I'm just going to do some degenerate play of just taking Ciryl Gane to win by submission, just because why not? Like, it's probably going to be a good price.
Trying to get like 25 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just get some ridiculous price on it, just because I like the jiu-jitsu. I like
he can do everything. He can.
Yeah, he does everything. And I don't know what Francis' gas tank's going to look like. We haven't really seen it.
It's very true.
As we said, he's knocked everyone out early, but
I think his last like 5 fights, you get like total of like 7 minutes of action.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? And Gane goes deep into fights, So
and then in this sport too, you got like you can't really, the experience means so much of going longer into fights.
Yeah,
it's just one of the things and that's just a question mark. We'll see, but who knows? I mean, Francis just push forward and has knocked him out in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, just goes windmill arms and
just do what he does to Rosenstruck again.
Exactly.
But so that's about. I mean, there's gonna be a lot about that fight. I'm excited for it. Very excited for the Embedded. That's going to be fun. I love the Embedded series. I love the Embedded series.
Embedded to me is one of the best things that the UFC does from a content
that was one of my favorite. it makes you get into it more too.
No
Like,
question. It's 10
oh
minutes at
my
a time.
gosh.
You know, you can always find time for it. It's great.
I always listen. I always watch it whenever I do my little like warm up walk thing before I work out. It's perfect. It's perfect. So let's talk about the other fight. We kind of talked a little bit about it earlier between Figueiredo and Moreno. And obviously, yes, you got the babyface assassin, you got Brandon, then you got the villain, you got the God of War, Figueiredo. Like it's again another Hollywood storyline.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people though are kind of overlooking Figueiredo this time because of the last fight.
Agree. I think that's true. I'm surprised where the odds are. Like I do think Figueiredo is one of the most dangerous guys in that division. What I'm wondering, along with the rest of the world, is now Figueiredo's lost before. Like he's 20-2, right?
Yeah.
So he had lost before and then came back and was a destroyer to get the belt. I'm wondering if Moreno went 5 rounds with him, technically lost because the point was taken away, right? I mean, it was a draw, but they took the point away. So if you look at it without the point taken away, but like he went 5 hard rounds and then Moreno was still the underdog and then he kind of dominated him, and then like he finished him in the 3rd round. So I think for a lot of the division, Figueiredo was just this scary guy to deal with who was just super powerful, tough to deal with, all that stuff. And then Moreno went 5 rounds with him, took the best he had, stayed in his face the whole time. It was a draw setting up a rematch, and then he finished him. So I don't think to Moreno it's scary. So I'm wondering if it's kind of the 4-minute mile thing where, oh, it can't happen. This guy's too good, but whatever. Because the only other time he lost, it was a decision. And then he finishes him. And now all of a sudden, like, how does Figueiredo respond? The weight cut for him is always really, really tough. And then Moreno, who's like self-belief was already there, but even higher. And I think that Moreno's, I don't know, this is impossible to quantify, but in my head, I'm thinking Moreno wants to be the champion more than Figueiredo wants to be the champion. I don't know if obviously I'm outside of it. I don't even really know those guys well, but to me, what that means for Mexico and what that means to him and kind of the ride that he's been on, I don't think he's going to give it up.
That was what I was going to say. It's like he has the weight of a nation on him.
He does. Like there's been a lot of Brazilian champions, and it's a huge deal down there too. But I just, Moreno's like his why is pretty big, as they say, like find your why and all that stuff. And his why is as big as it could possibly be.
For real. And Mexico's been dying for a champion. They finally got it. They thought it for years. They thought it was going to be Rodriguez, and now it's Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
So I want to ask the next thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of something I'm sad to see, was we had this awesome fight that was going to be right before. It was going to be Ilia Topuria against Movsar Evloev.
Yeah.
That was I was so excited for that fight, and I was so sad to see Evloev pull out.
Yeah, but did you see the replacement?
Yeah, Jourdain. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, man. Jourdain is to me one of the most exciting guys.
Well, it's going to be
on the entire roster. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, Evloev is certainly a big prospect. He hasn't I don't know much about him. I haven't called one of his fights yet. Like he's a Russian guy who's just. There's a lot of guys out there. It's just like, what are you going to do with this guy? He's just going to tear up the ranks and whatever. And Topuria is one of those guys. Right. And Topuria, I think, has star potential, I think he really does. But I think that Jourdain is a guy that should not be he was fought on the prelims last time out, and his record is not equal to his excitement level and the fact that he reps Canada. Canada doesn't have a lot of reps right now in the UFC. And like, he's this kid who's he's so mature. His kind of understanding of what he is and what he does best and how he's going to reach the next level is incredible. In addition to his toughness, his skill, the way that he fights, that was a great fight, but I don't think it drops off at all because of the fact that they got Jourdain to replace.
In terms of excitement, I think it got 1,000 times better. But in terms of the rankings and things
climbing
like that,
exactly. That was unfortunate.
That's why I was disappointed because unfortunate. I'm a big Topuria guy. I want to see him keep going up. So I think he is, as you said, star potential, all that.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed for that, but then I saw Jourdain and I was like, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
it
lot of
will.
fun.
It sure
I mean,
will.
so other than that fight, and I want to, what is the fight? A lot of people are saying this card isn't really that great. I beg to differ. I think this card's going to be a lot of fun. And a lot of times when people say this card's going to suck, the card's going to be a lot of fun.
Those are the
What's
best cards.
Oh, they're always the best cards, and they're like
Yeah.
all finishes. So like this Saturday is probably going to be finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah.
But then somehow they always end like in a decision that was kind of like, but that's not going to happen. Well, I want to ask, in your opinion, what's the fight you're looking forward to the most that maybe people aren't talking about as much?
So the second fight of the night is going to be awesome. This is a deep cut. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't going to second fight of the night on ESPN Plus. Matt Frivola, Genaro Valdez.
Yes.
That's a knockout one way or the other. Valdez was on last season of Contender Series and was in an absolute slugfest. It was like a video game fight. And he got a win. He's a Moreno guy. He's buddies with Moreno. I've been training with him for a long time. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly. I believe he's 10-0 with like 9 knockouts or something. And then Frivola has been up and down in the UFC, but he is very good and he is very exciting. Like he's let it all hang out. People know that about Frivola. So to me, like I will, like I understand that not everybody can be on the couch depending on your time zone from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. for 7 hours of fights, but don't miss that one.
Well, we're going to. We're both going
to.
Right?
I mean, exactly. I mean, it's our business in a manner of speaking, and whatever. But for the people that have families, children, little league, soccer practice to go to, just have your phone available for that.
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
Valdez
It's free too.
fight.
It's on ESPN Plus.
It's on ESPN Plus.
It's on Fight Pass.
Just
pull it up. Just pull it up. See, the one I'm looking forward to. I was looking forward to it before the replacement was Jack Della Maddalena against Warley Alves. I was excited for that. Then they bring in Pete Rodriguez, and it's going to be just as fun. So like that's the one I've been telling people too. Like I always say Michel Pereira. He's always fun.
Yeah, I know. I was upset. He was supposed to fight last week, and then it got pushed back. And I was just like, well, gosh. I mean, let me have Michel Pereira every time he's out there. I would have given you that one too. But that's main card, so obviously people are going to be watching that one main card.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone's gonna be watching that one. And also, like that's got to suck for you too. You're probably looking forward to watching him just kind of do his thing in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they come and go, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you're the beneficiary of these cancellations and the shifting schedule. Like I wasn't, Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw were supposed to fight in May, and then like it got pushed back, and I wasn't supposed to call it, and then it gets pushed back, and then it's a main event on the show that I'm calling in July, and I'm just like, well, I'll take that one. So sometimes you get some real good. Sometimes you get some real good ones. Same with Holloway and Rodriguez. That was supposed to happen. I wasn't calling it, and then it happens in November. So it's give and take.
It's give and take. That's the game. That's the game.
Yeah.
Those are 2 fights. We both given you some pretty good ones to look out for. Now I'm gonna wrap up. There's 2 things I got. Number 1, when you were on the call on Saturday, were you noticing that Bisping kept calling Calvin Kelvin?
Yeah, a little bit. Like. So sometimes it's an accent thing.
I don't think that was an accent thing.
I don't know if it was or not. Like, I think honestly, like I think it kind of was. Like I don't know, Bisping, like with Bisping with English, like John Gooden sometimes too. Like like when he's on the call, like it's gonna sound different. Like they say their vowels differently. They really do. Like when we go out to dinner, and John Gooden orders pasta. They don't say pasta, So it's like and then it's very tough. How do you ask them to turn off how they speak for a fighter's name? When they see it and with just how they say things. So I don't know if that was. I mean, listen, Michael Bisping knows who Calvin Kattar is. Like,
he knows who he is. He knows who he is.
He's not like this early prelim fighter is just like, oh, I think his name's Kelvin. I do think in that case it was probably an accent thing, and when he says it quickly and whatever, I don't know. I'm not the guy.
That was one of those things. I saw it on Twitter.
You start correcting Bisping a lot, you're playing a dangerous game. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say he loves going at you. I know that.
It's all good. It's
we
it's all
love.
We know the fans like it. We know that it adds to the fun of it. So I never shy away from letting him rib me a little bit.
You got the Boston shit talking in you too, so we may
Exactly.
not see it on camera, but we know
Can
what's
handle
going
it.
right back.
Can
Yeah, you
handle
can
it.
handle it. You can handle it, and you can dish it right back. So no, I didn't notice it, and then I looked on Twitter, and everyone's like, he keeps saying Kelvin, and then I just
Oh,
heard
I
that. I'm
didn't
like,
see that. I didn't
yeah,
notice
I
that.
saw
Yeah.
it on Twitter. Like I didn't notice it either. I thought it was just accent, and then they said it. I
Yeah.
was like, then I couldn't unhear it. You know, like when you
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see something and then you just can't unnotice it.
Yep. Yep.
Like I can't, like the FedEx logo. It's an arrow. I never knew it was an arrow, and then now every time I look at it, it's just an arrow.
I didn't know that.
Well, there you go.
Now
Learn something.
my life changed today.
Look at the logo. How we're done.
You know,
Look at the
like
logo,
sometimes
we're
too,
done.
like when I was a kid, like for the longest time, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah,
I was like, why is their logo just a baseball glove? And then I was like, and then when you're like 12 or 14, whatever, I was just like, oh, it's an M and a B. That's a really cool logo. I was a dork the whole time.
Yeah, it's crazy when you see there's actual meaning behind their
Yes,
simple
yeah.
logos.
Yeah.
All right, so, and then the last one, which might lead to another one, is this: when was the first time you got blood in your face calling a fight?
I haven't gotten blood on my face. I haven't gotten blood on my face or my clothes or anything. It's funny you asked me this right now because there was a drop of Chikadze blood on my Giga Chikadze notes during the fight, like during like after the third round, I think it was either after the third round or the fourth round, and I looked down, and then there was just like a little red splotch of, you know, it was tiny, but it was there, you know.
Close.
And then I started looking around on my shirt or like, you know, on my jacket, and I didn't see anything else. It's kind of weird that it would be right there and nothing else. But no, like I haven't had that yet. I haven't had any on my face. I haven't felt it. Haven't gotten on my clothes. Like Anik, I know, has the shirt from the Ferguson and Pettis fight, because that one was like, you know, those a couple of bleeders basically. And but no, I haven't had that until just this past weekend. So
that's
there you
crazy.
go.
That's kind of wild. Well, again, you're in the sport
where it made it to the table, you know. But I've only been I've been around 4 years. Give me another 4 years, I probably have a lot of decorated items depending on who I call.
You can't clean it at that point. You got to just hang it up and just be like,
That's right.
This is when I got blood.
This is it.
And the follow-up was how much blood you get on you guys from that last fight, because that was
I didn't see any others on the table, but that was, I mean, yeah, Giga was busted up, man. He was busted up a lot, and then he was taking some elbows.
That was the thing. The elbows. There was a couple shots Kattar landed. I was shocked to see Giga still standing.
Yeah.
A couple of those spinning elbows, like that was nuts.
The spinning elbows, and then like a lot of the short elbows that he was going in. I mean, Bisping said this a couple of times. It's like what Max Holloway did to Calvin Kattar is what Calvin Kattar did to Giga Chikadze a year later. I mean, it's like very close to being stopped. You could have stopped it probably in rounds 4 or 5 at certain points, and I don't think people would have argued. Chikadze comes out of that fight reevaluating kind of what he needs to do, but also like earning a ton of respect that like he is tough to get out of there. He's never been beaten the UFC. And then now we know that he can do that, like just show that kind of next level toughness. And now it's his job to go back. And so, you know, there's a lot of storylines coming out of that one.
Oh, there's a ton of them. I just remember watching a fight in the past when he was still in the prelims. I just remember I saw one shot that was, you know, it wasn't anything too crazy. It wobbled him. And so I remember thinking if Kattar lands good, I think he's going to get, you know, he's going to wobble and go down. So that's why I was so shocked. I've seen it in the past where like if he has a little less shot, but I don't know. Props to him, man. That was a hell of a fight. So that's what I got for you, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Hey.
You got to come on now whenever I ask. We'll have you on whenever.
I'm happy to join you, Tommy. This was a lot of fun. And where are you from, Tommy? You're an East Coast guy?
I am not an East Coast guy. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. So
okay.
You Boston guys have been cursing my sports life forever.
I always try to keep it respectable. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but that's so Indy. There you go.
I'll say it the way it is. I'll say it the way it is. Yeah, Indy. For now. Who knows?
For sure, man.
In the coming years, we'll probably move somewhere else for you know, focus more on this stuff. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hey, you can do anything from anywhere now with this type of format. So
fantastic.
Happy to be on with you, man. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for the generosity, and you know, this was a pleasure.
go check out his podcast. It's Fitz Nation. Is that the title? Okay, just
Fitz Nation is the podcast. One-on-one interviews with UFC fighters and coaches and other MMA related people, and just try to get into the story and see how they reach their top level. It's become kind of a personal development podcast, and it's been a lot of fun to talk with fighters in that format. So yeah, check it out.
I will say, I'm not even gaslighting you right now. I use your podcast for my research all the time because you ask like really informative questions you won't hear anywhere else. So like that's not
Thanks,
even
man.
gaslighting. I'm dead serious. Like I interviewed Eric Anders. I listened to your interview with him.
Yeah.
It's like one
Thanks,
of those things.
man. I appreciate that.
I always look at you as one of the first people. It's like, all right, let's see what he has to say.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I've realized from early on, I was like, once I started doing the podcast, I was like, I don't care if anybody listens, because for my fight calling, this is incredible research, and to just connect with a fighter for 45 minutes to an hour, get their life story. We basically were friends at the end of it, and then, so for that, but I know it can help a lot of other people, fans and otherwise, in how they follow the sport. So I'm glad I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, for real. I don't lie. I don't do any of that stuff. That's for real. That's for real. So for me, for Brandon, we're out. See ya. That was a great interview with our boy Fitz. Great catching up with him. Now friend of the program. We got like him, Ken Flo. Hopefully we can get Anik here soon. Felder, Kiss, all those guys. We're gonna have all the analysts at some point, but it was great to have both guys who are part of the main event. We got Calvin, man of the hour, man of the week, only guy to win a main event of 2022. Yes, oh, damn right. And then we also got Fitz, who's the only guy to call a fight or be the color commentator for 2022. So anyway, still called the fight, obviously, but he was like the main play-by-play, the lead. Anyway, big weekend, first pay-per-view 2022, UFC 270, gone. Ngannou, Moreno, Figueiredo. So we're going to go through the card, but we're going to do the card a little bit different than everyone else. Pick 3 prelim fights. We pick a minimum 1 early prelim, and then if you want to, we can do 2, 3 if you really wanted to, but we picked 3 prelims, 1 early, 2 main, and then we go through the entire main card. So let's start off with the first fight in the early prelims. It is what we talked about with Fitz, Matt Frevola versus Canara Valdez. It's going to be a fast fight. Will not go to the judges. Yeah. Harry, you go first. How do you think this one ends?
Frevola KO, 8 seconds.
8 seconds? So you know what? I know 8 seconds. 8 seconds. I think I know the reasoning behind that one. Yeah, I think I know the reason behind that one is because he got knocked out in 7 seconds by someone on our show, Terrence McKinney. You know what? Fuck that. I'm taking him to win in 6 seconds. He's gonna break the record.
Has the record broken by his face and then breaks the record himself. That's the way to go.
That's the way to do it. I don't know if a 6-second knockout's possible, but shit, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know. I have a feeling. I have a feeling in my bones.
Never know what's gonna happen until it happens.
Never know what's gonna happen until it happens. But yeah, Matt Frevola, 6 seconds, breaks the record. We'll see if he talks about it as much as Terrence. Let's move on to the next fight. I just want to preface this by saying we are the least biased podcast out there. We do not just pick our friends. We tell you the truth. So let's go to Jack Della Maddalena against Pete Rodriguez. I'll go first. As I said, no bias. Jack's gonna beat the fucking shit out of this guy.
Yeah, I no bias, but I absolutely agree.
Yeah. All bias aside, I think Jack's gonna KO him. He's gonna win outright. It's going to be early. He didn't get the finish of the Contender Series. Didn't really reveal a whole lot about him. So I'm hoping the line's a little juicier. I haven't seen it yet. But Jack Della Maddalena, he's going to win by finish. Don't know how, but he's going to get it done early.
Continue that win streak.
Yeah, exactly. Continue that win streak. Make it to 11. So, again, no bias aside. Let's move on to the next fight. Ilia Topuria against Charles Jourdain. Another fight we talked about with Fitz. Again, I don't know how many times I have to say this. There's no bias in the show, but Ilia himself said he's going to finish the guy in the first round. So I think you'd be stupid not to say Ilia is going to finish him in the first round. Like, he said it himself, right?
Yeah, I'm just taking him off his own word. There's no bias in that. You're just listening to the man himself talk. And he said in the first round he's going to knock the hell out of him.
Well, he said maybe submission too. He said maybe submission.
Maybe submission.
But
it's going to end in the first round.
Couldn't guarantee that part. So he's got to be pretty honest with us on that part. He wasn't sure how. He might get the neck. We'll see. But first round finish. That's Again,
no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt,
No bias.
no bias whatsoever. So those are our prelim fights. Let's move on to the main card. You know, the one that most people will watch. But those 3 fights, like, actually, no bullshit. Like, no bullshit aside, like, those 3 fights will all be really fun.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna give another extra, obviously the featured prelim will be a lot of fun. But the entire, like, prelims, all 4 of the main prelims, all a lot of really fun. I would start watching early if you
Looks like a
can.
stack card.
Yeah, start drinking a little early and watch those fights. It'll be a hell of a time. Anyway, main card, we got Rodolfo Vieira versus Wellington Turman. Harry, who do you have winning this fight?
You know, I really couldn't choose one of the fighters for this one, so I'm just gonna say that cardio is gonna be the big winner. Because they're gonna push each other to the edge, and if it does go to round 5, they're
Round
just
three.
gonna be standing there staggered. Three.
Yeah, 3.
Sorry, my bad.
It's
My
okay.
bad. I'm
It's
still
okay.
thinking of
I could not
the
imagine
last fight.
seeing these guys go through. If these guys had to go 5 rounds, I think we would all. One of them would just die of, like, lung failure or something. I don't know, but yeah, these guys, they don't really. Rodolfo, I think, fixes gas tank a little bit. We'll see. He most notoriously got submitted by a future friend of the program, Anthony Hernandez. He's coming on. Don't know when, but he's coming on. We've already talked about it. But yeah, he got submitted by him. All time, like, gassed out, like, into this, like, end of the first round, the second round, he just couldn't even move. It was crazy. And then Wellington Turman, he's only gotten 1 win in the past 2 years against a guy named Sam Alvey. And so as you recurring friends watching the show and just maybe new listeners, Harry's a casual, so he doesn't know. Sam Alvey is a guy that most people think should not be in the UFC. He's lost, like, I don't know how many fights in a row. He's always the guy people bring up when someone gets released. You're like, how the fuck is Sam Alvey still on the roster? But so-and-so is not. Nice guy, great guy. Smiling Sam, great guy. But he's just not who he was, like, 5-6 years ago. So I'm going to go with Vieira by submission. We'll see. I don't know. It'll be fun. As I said, cardio probably will win. And it's not going to be very fun after, like, halfway through the second. Hopefully we get some memes out of that one. So let's move on to bantamweight. What are you gonna say?
Or maybe a nice quick KO. Nice and quick. Move on with the rounds.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get a finish. So we can keep it moving. So let's go on to Cody Stamann against Said Nurmagomedov. Harry, I'll let you go first. I wanted to go first, but I'm gonna let you go first here.
You see, I got to go with my USA roots. Go Stamann.
All right.
USA.
USA, goddammit. We don't actually have any Americans in the championship fight. So this is actually the last American fighting on the card. So this is the American championship for UFC 270. Honestly, so fun little fact for all the listeners out there. We had Cody Stamann. We were in contact for him to come on the show. He ghosted us. Pretty sad.
Ooh.
Very sad. And Said Nurmagomedov, he ducked our boy Jack Shore. So I'm gonna go with a double KO or a draw. I want no one to win here. No one can win here. That's my official pick. Double KO, double submission,
double KO,
draw.
That'd be insane.
That would be kind of sick. I don't know if it's ever actually happened, but it would be pretty funny. Let's go on to the next fight. This is another fight. Everyone's got circled outside of the title fight. This is Miguel Pereira versus Andre Fiallo. I don't know if I said that right, but it's going to be a fun fight. I'll go first. I think Michel Pereira is going to win by a backflip guillotine into a triangle or just some crazy fucking combination like that. I don't even know if that's possible, but with Miguel Pereira, anything is possible.
He's the one to figure it out.
He is. He is chaos in the octagon. He's going to be doing all kinds of flips, turns, all that kind of shit. So I'm excited to see that. We'll see what happens. Harry, who do you have in this fight?
You know what? I like the flips. I'm going with Pereira too.
Okay.
I feel like I want to just see him get a submission, get a knockout, and then just start doing backflips all over the octagon. I think that'd be fun to watch. So that's what I'm going with.
Another thing I think would be really funny is if he does a backflip and then Andre gets him into a heel hook. Our boy Nico Price almost got that off. That'd be just as funny. Or if Pereira does a backflip and knocks the guy out when he's down, that's technically a disqualification. Like, give me something funny with that. Like, give me something funny with that. So let's move on to the championship rounds, championship fights. Brandon Moreno against Davison Figueiredo.
Nice.
Yeah, I know I fucked that one up. Sorry, boys. So, Harry, I know I took the lead the last time. I know you've already taken it twice. I'm going to let you take it again. Who do you have?
I'm going with Moreno.
You're gonna go
I
through.
feel like, yeah,
Okay.
I like his odds. Looking at the card right now, he's minus 180. And I want a nice guy to win at least one of these fights. So going with Lego man.
All right, Lego, the king of Legos, Brandon Moreno. So I'm gonna go with Davison Figueiredo, and the only reason behind that is I don't know. I just think that his nickname is the God of War. He is a lot of fun to watch. Last fight, you could say he had a shitty camp. This camp seems like it's a lot better. First fight, he really won. He just kind of got fucked. I think it was the eye poke that did him in for a point. There was like a point deduction. I think that's what it was, if I remember correctly. But he really won that fight. He really should have won that fight. But second fight, he looked awful. Moreno took advantage. We'll see what happens in the trilogy. Usually, the guy who wins the second fight wins the third fight. I don't know. Should be fun. But just an aside, Harry, you're gonna if you watch the Embedded series, which I highly recommend, and everyone who watches the Embedded series, you saw Figueiredo shoot a Lego UFC belt. It was super cringe, but I thought it was super funny. The guy behind this whole thing, it's not actually Figueiredo. The manager is also the same manager as Henry Cejudo. It's the manager who's behind all the cringe. He's behind all the cringe. So if that manager is around, I think actually, I don't think he's Paulo Costa's manager, but they look very similar. That's where you get some of the cringe. But Paulo Costa is like the funniest dude. He's not cringe. He's just actually funny. So anyway, Figueiredo, we need a cringe champion. Figueiredo's going to come through for us.
Gotta love a cringe champ.
Yeah, and also he's fun to watch. I like watching fight. Also like Brandon Moreno, but like we gotta have a little bit of we gotta have a different pick here. We haven't had a different pick yet. So championship fight. This is a hard fight for me. I love both these guys. Same with the next big pay-per-view. We got Izzy and Whitaker. Like a lot of guys coming up that are very, very, very likable. We talked about it with Fitz a little bit. You weren't there for it. So I'll let you give your uninformed opinion first.
So I'm going with the man who has the heaviest punch in the UFC, Francis Ngannou.
That's a safe bet.
I mean, he's one of the few guys that I could name off the top of my head before I really started getting into UFC. So I've known of him and been a fan of his, but I've known and liked him for a while. So I want to keep going with the guy I know and like, going with Ngannou.
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm not picking a winner. I'm going to take both. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take Francis to win by KO in the first round. And then if that doesn't happen, so I'm going to have that happen. So if he doesn't win in the first round, I'm having Gane win by submission. Just because I don't know if he can finish Francis. Francis is a good chance. So I don't know. I just want a good fight. I can't pick this one. If I have to pick, fuck it. I'll just go with Francis for the program show. But I do personally think Gane's gonna win. I don't know which way. I don't think it's gonna go to decision like some of these sharps and stuff say. I think if it goes to 5, I think Francis is gonna gas and Cyril will take him down and submit him. Whatever.
That's been his major problem.
Yeah, it has been his big problem. And we didn't really get to see it with Stipe, but he seemed to be a lot more selective with his shots against Stipe. So we'll see. It'll be a really good fight. It's going to be a great card. I mean, we talked about the Fitz. You weren't here for it. We've already said it before. We already said it today. This card, some people think sucks. It doesn't. That means it's going to be kick-ass. There's going to be a lot of finishes. It's going to be so much fun. So that's what we got for the UFC card. That's our official picks.
I remember, I remember, I think it was a few episodes ago that we recorded that you said, if everyone says the card sucks, it's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
So
that's how this works. That's how this game works. So like the Jack Hermanson Sean Strickland card. I already looked at it. It kind of sucks. Our boy Trezano though is gonna fuck shit up. But anyway, that's future. That's in the future. We'll worry about that later. Anyway, that's our picks for the card. Super excited. We'll be releasing a graphic. Tell us how stupid we are. But you gotta agree with me on the double KO/draw. I think everyone sees that one coming. But let's go ahead and talk a little NFL. I was texting you about this. I should be perfect on my picks. Actually, if you were to go back and watch the show when we picked, and you didn't watch the next episode, I would be 100% right now in the NFL. No big deal. I'd be 100%.
No big deal.
No big deal. You wouldn't be because you were a homer. But
yeah, but I mean, you gotta pick the home team. Like, come on now.
That's true. I'll give you that. So, I don't even know who the favorite is at this point. The Bills look like they're a fucking wagon, But at the same time, though, maybe that was their Super Bowl, though, beating the Patriots as bad as they did. I don't know. I think you can make a case for that. That's not a game I'm going to bet on. I'm just going to watch and enjoy.
No.
Two great
Stay
quarterbacks.
away from the money on that.
Two great quarterbacks going head-to-head. So probably will end up being like a 13-7 game. Again, you just go against the opposite of the grain.
Yeah.
So that game will be a lot of fun. And to be honest, probably whoever wins that's going to go to the Super Bowl. All respect to Cincinnati. All respect to the team in Nashville. This is all the disrespect to the Tennessee Titans, though. I will say it makes me really think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl and win, and just make me as a Colts fan suffer even more than I have already.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that
well-rested Derrick Henry. Oh my god,
that's a terrifying prospect right there. I'm pretty sure the whole state of Indiana would just shut down out of grief.
Well,
the whole week,
and around that time would be around the time IU basketball's annual collapse would happen. But Mike Woodson, believe. They're not going to happen.
Wear the suit.
But, and wear out the goatee. But that's not going to happen this year. So if the Titans are to win, at least we have some kind of hope here in Indiana. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. But they're not going to beat the Packers, so that's okay. Or the Rams. So let's move on to the NFC. Let's move on to the NFC. I know a lot of people are coming out saying the Cardinals suck, Cliff Kingsbury is stooge, all that kind of stuff. Kingsbury is a bad coach, but it seemed as if the Rams weren't really trying until the playoffs. It's one of those things where Stafford looked like he was a lot more locked in. It's a dangerous game, which makes me even more pissed because that means Tampa Bay is probably going to beat Los Angeles. Like it's again my logic of whatever everyone thinks, the opposite always happens. So that's why I think like Tennessee is going to beat the living shit out of the Bengals, and that's why I think the Bucs, even though
suck
all week, all I've said is I think the Bucs are going to they're just shit wrecked by the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very nervous. Very nervous. Am I going to bet on the Rams? You bet your sweet ass. No one cares about my bets, but you bet your sweet ass I'm going to.
Yeah.
But
I mean, how can you not? Stafford looks like he's in prime Detroit time, like him and Megatron, but him with OBJ this time, who's arguably just as good of a receiver in his prime.
Never mind. No.
That was stupid.
You're again. I'm gonna tell your teachers to give you fucking. You're no longer getting an A. I'm taking away. You're going down to a B. Just for the. I know you don't get graded for this internship, but I'm gonna make sure you get a B for that. Just for that statement. That statement.
No, that was stupid. That was dumb as shit. That was a brainless statement. I realized that the second it came out of my mouth, it was like, wait, what am I saying?
To be fair, did Megatron get freed?
He never did. And Stafford being freed.
No. I'm talking OBJ got freed.
Oh,
we freed OBJ.
Well, both of them.
Both
of them got freed.
That's true. They both got freed, but there was never a campaign to free Matt Stafford. An active campaign.
That's very true.
There was a campaign to free OBJ.
I'm sure there was. Yeah. So OBJ and Stafford now looking for that ring that they can never get with their old shitty teams.
No, That's true. That's very true. They were both freed. I don't know. We'll see. That's out of all the. So you have the Chiefs, Bills, and then Bucs, Rams. Both probably those are by far the games I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. I don't know the exact dates of when they are. No matter what, they'll probably if if one of them's during the UFC 270, I'm going on my laptop. I don't care as much. Let's move on to the last game, the 49ers against the Packers. I said this when we
That's not even a contest.
Well, that's the problem. The Packers in the past have had a pretty rush defense. What do the 49ers do? They just run the ball. If I'm a Packers fan, that was the worst matchup you could have asked for. If it was the Cowboys, you're happy. But the fact that it's the 49ers, that's like the stereotypical, that's the team no one wants to play. They're the right time. That's what the 49ers are. So if you're a Packers fan, you're a little nifty, but they have Aaron Rodgers. This is Aaron Rodgers' like fuck you tour. I think LaFleur learned from last year, just let Rodgers like go for the win, never kick a field goal. So I still think it's the Packers are the favorite. Obviously, if they don't win or if they look like shit, you could change your narrative. But no, I still think it's the Packers Super Bowl to lose. And
I agree.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm nervous for the Bills. I'm nervous for Buffalo. I'm nervous they might have I know you don't do letdown games in the NFL like in college football, but I heard someone say it's like when Michigan beat Ohio State, they finally beat Big Brother, and then they just got their shit, and then they got their shit wrecked by Georgia.
Ooh, that could be a very good point right there.
Yeah, I will always say when I steal people's opinions, I will always bring it up, and I always say, I don't know who you were, I don't know who you are out there. I stole your opinion.
Yeah, thank you for the opinion, real quick.
Shout out my boy. Don't know who you are, but shout out you for bringing that up. I stole it.
Some dude on Twitter, some dude on Instagram. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for real. Some dude on Twitter. I appreciate you. I don't know your name. Probably like Stephon Diggs, like third leg or some shit was his like handle. I don't know. It's one of those stupid burner accounts. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. We have a great weekend of sports. College basketball, obviously, kicking up, getting hotter, getting close to the February push, getting into the tournament. We filmed this a little
Purdue tonight.
I was about to say we filmed this a little early. We did this before the press conferences, so I can't react to Davis and Figueiredo doing something cringy tonight. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Harry, watch it. I know it's going to be during the IU game. Pull it up on your laptop. Do you work?
No, I'm going to my buddy's place to watch the game.
Okay. Well, you know what? Don't watch the press conference since you're going to be there. Watch it when you get home, though. Watch it when you get home.
I will.
And then your other homework assignment is watch Embedded. Actually, this Embedded is kind of Embedded's kind of sucked this year. For this pay-per-view. Usually, so Embedded, again, if you're trying to get into UFC, like Harry, Embedded just kind of follows all the fighters around, and then you like.
Is that what's the NFL one called? Is it like
Hard Knocks?
They did it on the Colts this year.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks, yeah.
Yeah, no. It's not like Hard Knocks. It follows every fighter. It follows every fighter as they arrive in Vegas, fight camp. It says follow them around the whole week before the fight. It's really cool. It's really fascinating. So this one's kind of sucked. If you watch like the Conor McGregor ones are always like can't miss. They're so entertaining.
Oh, yeah, it's like batshit insane.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's one for Dustin Connor 2, for instance. They were showing an interview of Connor and one guy, and then Max Holloway comes by on a skateboard, and it just shows like Conor McGregor reaction. It's like just dumb shit like that. Anyway, no, Embedded, highly recommend. Press conference should be fun tonight, even though there's really not many shit talkers on this card. It sucks again. Our boy Leah couldn't fucking shit talk Mavzar. Did you see his red suit today?
Fire. That
dude is incredible. Did you know why he brought the red suit out?
No clue.
Because Mavzar said he was going to wipe him around like a red mop.
Damn.
Dude, he's so cool.
That's so cool.
When you hear the real someone tried to tell me it was I was being company man using the Living.Fit handle and like saying the fire suit. Someone said that's for the Georgian flag. No, it's not. It's because Mavzar said he was going to use them like a fucking red mop.
That is baller. Damn.
There's levels in this game, and he's levels above everyone else. Anyway, all right.
He's got the mind games going.
He's already got the mind games going. He is so far in Evloev's head. They're gonna fight, and it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be over before you know it too, because he's just gonna get in there and pound the shit out of him. As he said, some kind of ridiculous.
Matador 1, Evloev 0.
1 round. Yes. First round finish.
First round finish. Anyway, all right. That's what we got. I'm trying to think. Nothing else really announced in the UFC news. Obviously, with fight week. So that's a show. Next week, Monday, we got Eric Anders. On Friday, we got Pierre Garçon. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
and then we also got potentially Mike Trezano. We already did the interview. I'm trying to figure out scheduling, that's how the sausage is made. We do interviews in advance. Fun fact, I don't do everything the day of. Crazy, I know. Anyway, all right. Wild. All right, that's the show. I always fucking pull these out too long. All right, see ya. Bye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.Fit today.